How about sweet potato gnocchi in a Parmesan butter sauce? So, great thing about sweet potatoes is, well, people get them mixed up all the time. Is it a yam? Is it a sweet potato? Well, we're talking about the sweet potato, a little less starchy than the yam. So the idea here is cook these off ahead of time, or maybe you have some left over. We're gonna get them cool to the touch, just to where we can kind of handle them a little bit. Poke some holes in them, roasted them off in the oven, just the normal way you'd cook them. And look at that. Look at that beautiful color. Huh? Take this into the bowl. Some grated parm, maybe about a cup. A little olive oil, a couple tablespoons of that. Little brown sugar. I know that we have the sweetness of the sweet potato going on, but a little brown sugar will go a long way. A little salt and pepper. There we go. And here's where we really start adding the subtle flavor, but the flavor that everybody go like, why? Why does this gnocchi taste so fantastic? It's this. We're gonna use a little thyme, a little fresh thyme. So a little bit of thyme. And last but not least, say holidays, what do you think? You think nothing. Okay, lock that down. Let that slowly whip together there for a second. Turn it up. We're gonna really let that fluff up. We're really gonna put a lot of air into that and aerate it. It's gonna be nice, and that'll help it get nice and creamy. Because remember, on the gnocchi, you don't want those dense little hard pillows. You want to be nice, light, and fluffy. Now this right here looks like pumpkin pie filling, just in the savory sense. Bring this off. Get a little bench flour here. Now I was gonna be using maybe up to 2 cups of flour for this, but we're really gonna be looking for what the texture of this is gonna look like. Want it to be a little bit pliable. Seems like a little now, but there's a ton of flavor in that. And again, just the opportunity to repurpose that sweet potato. Could have been left over. You know how you have the big Thanksgiving party the night before? Well, the great thing is you could cook off those sweet potatoes, had them done and ready to go. Just one less thing that you have to cook on the actual big turkey day. Okay? There we go. Get a little more flour right up on top of that. Lightly start putting it together. Oh, this is perfect. Making gnocchi, it takes a lot of time. Well, it doesn't take a lot of time. It takes patience because you're working with something really super delicate. So what I've got here is some sweet potatoes I cooked ahead of time, made this fantastic little mixture with a little bit of thyme, a lot of Parmesan cheese, and some olive oil, and now I'm just lightly kneading in the flour. It's not an exact science because I don't know how many sweet potatoes I'm gonna have and how wet they're going to be, so I'm just working them enough just to where they're not tacky, and I'm gonna be able to start to roll them out to make those little dumplings. Okay, this, a touch of flour inside the bowl, pick that up, let it just rest here for just maybe about 30 minutes. So I took the sweet potatoes, kneaded it in a little bit of flour, and then I let it rest there in a floured bowl. Now, cut off a manageable piece, a little bit of flour, and what we're looking for, let me just kind of show you the doughiness is. It's kind of tender like a pillow, not dense, not hard. For the size that it is, it's really kind of nice and light. Kind of feels like it might be a pastry. So I'm just gonna lightly roll this out. There we go. A little bit more manageable piece to work with. Uniform size, so they cook equally, okay? And we'll just knock off little 1-inch pieces. Go. About a tablespoon of salt to a gallon of water, remember that? And you definitely need it with the gnocchi. Start dropping these little dumplings down. When they float, they're gonna be done. We're gonna work them in batches, pull them out, let them cool. It's all coming together. That's how I want them done. Beautiful gnocchi, sweet potato gnocchi with a little bit of thyme and Parmesan cheese, all coming together for the traditional, untraditional items that we make here at the Fieri house or at the ranch for Thanksgiving. Now look at those. A little bit of salt water, took the sweet potato, mixed up the Parmesan cheese, gonna let these rest for just a second. Over here, I've got a little brown butter. So what I did is I started a pan, I'm gonna fire it back up now, started a cold pan, dropped the butter in there, and then slowly let it brown. If you drop the butter into a hot pan, automatically starts to brown, automatically starts to turn on you, and then you're chasing it down. So this right here, I've got it rendered down. I got a bunch of heat on it. Get it right to the brown butter look that I'm looking for. Just get nice and golden. Okay? Gets that little nuttiness to it. Now we'll go ahead, drop this in, and just giving these a chance to cool down a little bit, just to dry off a touch. The thyme in there. And all we're gonna do is just coat this a little bit. I gotta grab some Parmesan cheese. Okay, let that coat up a little bit. A little more heat on that braising liquid. A little parm on top of that, and that's all she wrote. They're already nice and warm. Okay. First, that little pillow. Sweet potato. Melt in your mouth. Light, super flavorful, fresh thyme. That's the kicker. And right, a little bit of Parmesan cheese for the saltiness.